Joining me on this episode of The Current TV. We are so glad to have you. Today promises to be special because I have some couple of guests in the house. I'm sure you want to meet them. But I'll be discussing a topic titled Matters Arising, Transparency International Rating of Nigeria, especially on corruption. You would also remember that recently Transparency International has rated Nigeria very high in corruption. I'm going to give you that details after an interview I had with the former governor of Anambra State on his side of the story concerning what the TI are saying about Nigeria's corruption rate. Don't go away, I'll come to you with that interview shortly.
Especially with an increase from about 25 to 28 since it took over in 2016. So what do you think about this rating to start with?
I was very happy when Buhari made anti-corruption the office, and I thought he was going to do it. And I must say, there's not so much you can blame this man for, because he became sick at the time he took up political office. But we are not fighting corruption in Nigeria. We are chasing opponents of the government in power with anti-corruption talk. If it were that the corruption fight is blind, everybody would jump at it. Because look at it. God created Nigeria to be a rallying point and big brother for all blacks. Now, look at what Nigeria is. Nigeria has become a shame, generating shame to all the faces of all blacks. Why? Corruption. Comprehensive, monumental corruption. It doesn't spare any sector. Not just the police, not the army, even in the church, even in the mosque, even in trade union, even in any corruption has eaten deep into every aspect of Nigeria. And if you want to fight it, you fight it boldly. Zero defect. Nobody spared. Not just looking for your enemies. What we have been doing in Nigeria is selective justice. And selective justice is injustice. Two people may go to somewhere. One is APC. The other is PDP. Obviously, if there's nothing wrong, the PDP person will be arrested. The APC man, the moment he says he is APC, he goes free. That is not even the greatest problem. the greatest problem today is that corruption is worse among those who are supposed to be fighting corruption. The cabal of the president is stinking corruption. Everybody who has big name in the party is stinking with corruption. Nigerians, well, there is a party they call Justice Must Prevail, and it has oath taken, not oath of office. No, when you are coming into the party, you take oath that you are going to work for the interest of Nigeria, not your own self-interest, not corrupt self-enrichment, but working for the welfare of Nigerian people. That is the only way you begin to approach the fight against corruption. It's not just a matter of mouth, and it is not only even during the time of other presidents, there were preferential treatments to friends and more strict treatment to those other friends. So what I would say about the rating is that the rating confirms our observation. What Nigerians know already, Transparency International has come to confirm it. But then,
that was the former governor of Anambra State, Dr. Eziefe Chukwuemeka. Thank you so much for joining me. He has been talking about the TI's rating of Nigeria and how accurate he says it is, yes, because it's so obvious that corruption is on the rise. Due to short timing we have now, we'll just go straight to the guests we have in the house. I have with me to talk about this issue the chairman, Justice Must Prevail Party, the acting chairman, Justice Must Prevail Party, Dr. Olusegun Ijagbeminsa. Thank you for joining me on this program. And I also have ANRP spokesperson, Akume Seso. Thank you for joining me on this program.
Thank you very much.
ANRP is Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party. So they're going to tell us, okay, now there's a consensus. Let me specifically identify these issues. Nigeria is ranked 28 of 100, 28 over 100, that's we are ranked 148 over 180 countries. So this is the highest ranking in the last over a decade now. So now we are saying, since the APC administration took over since 2015, 2016 had the highest ranking of about 27, a rise from 25 to 27. So there's been an increase in corruption. And yet, how can you say a system that is fighting corruption is actually growing in corruption? And these are the things the former governor said. He said there's been selected justice. I'll start with the chairman of Justice Must Prevail Party. Sir, what do you think about the Transparency International ratings? And what do you think your party can do differently? You understand? What can your party offer to address corruption? If we have a situation of corruption in the country and we're actually fighting corruption, the SEC is on the neck of people, ICPC, several corruption agencies and all that. So what do you think we can do differently? That's what Nigerians want to hear.
Thank you, moderator. Justice Must Prevail Party is a revolutionary party that has been brought to life in Nigeria to wipe out corruption entirely. Justice Must Prevail Party is not created to fight corruption. If it is to fight corruption, then it's going to use human knowledge, human experience, human wishes, which has failed us. For example, APC came in with a leadership that is most trusted by every Nigerian. Our president has been tested in several instances and he has been found to be incorruptible. he has sat on several billions of dollars belonging to this nation, and he never took one dime out of it. And that's why Nigerians entrusted the nation into him, that he can take us to the next level. But from this type of reports, although they are still subject to various reviews and analysis, we will find a very hard nut to crack to explain why corruption is still growing. And that's why God has now revealed to us that it is not possible for a man to decide not to be corrupt and be able to live with it, particularly when it has to do with such a huge nation like Nigeria. For a president only to be incorruptible, and then you have all gamut of the other aides that are doing what they like. I mean, you have stories of people moving money from one flat to another flat, and these are not 10 naira. They are in billions of naira, in millions of dollars, belonging to the public, that some of them are even hiding in toilets and in pit latrines. So, Justice Must Prevail Party is a party that has been established to create a Buhari spirit in every Nigerian. Not just in one man, but in every Nigerian. And this is going to be possible only with an oath, that you will take an oath, you will not steal government money when you are entrusted with money. You will take an oath that not from 1 naira will you ever steal. And we have tested this oath, it is working. It is more potent than the mammon that is placed on married women to prevent them from committing adultery. So this, when it is seen that 1 or 2 people are made scapegoats, every other person will sit up. This oath is not going to be taken only by the leaders. It is going to be taken by every Nigerian eventually, because it is this oath that is going to bring peace to everywhere in Nigeria. When you know that your leaders are not stealing 1 naira, you will be able to love each other. You'll be able to know that your friends are everywhere in Nigeria. When you see the other cultures, you see the best in them, not anything negative. Now we are being painted to be enemies of each other, just to be able to acquire, devilish money and then again afflict the people with the money. So GNPP has been established to purify the system so that Nigerians can know new governance, new spirit of ruling without stealing, and then loving the people. For example, GNPP is to share 10% of all the revenues collected in a year of the nation. In 2015, we had over $500 billion. 50 billion to be shared in such an instance to the poor, to the widows, to the people with disability, to the almajiris, to the people who are above 70 years old, to priests and to imams. Such money cannot be shared under ordinary wishes, because you are sharing money to people who cannot even fight you for not giving them. So, but under this oath, no kobo will be denied to those that are designed. Chairman, and so everywhere will be well developed.
If I allow you, you keep talking. You've got, it's like your party got a lot to offer. Yeah. Let me go to Mr. Seso. So please, what's your party's take on this? How is your party going to address corruption?
Thank you very much for the question. First and foremost, our party takes a very deep look at Nigeria's situations. In the area of corruption, our party sees it from different dimensions, and so that's how we're going to be approaching it. Corruption in Nigeria is at different levels. We have corruption that is institutional. There's corruption that individuals commit in order to take advantage of the system for personal gain. Actually, that's the government kind of definition of corruption. That's using office for personal gain. There are people who do that. The rest of us who are corrupt, not because we want to be corrupt, but the system forces us to be corrupt. So these are the kind of things we're going to be addressing. Let me give a few instances. And if I'll warn Nigerians ahead of time, if anybody says that a certain individual is incorruptible, is not corrupt, and so that individual is going to fix the system, run away from that kind of propaganda. We have to have a system whereby the institutions are strong. We don't depend on individuals, we depend on systems. Right now we don't have any systems, and that's why someone can tell us stories that an individual is corrupt, is not corrupt, and they're not that. Those are fables. Evidence doesn't suggest that. I could make a few examples. The President of Nigeria is also the chairman of the Federal Executive Council. According to our rules, our laws, the Federal Executive Council is not supposed to award contracts. Contracts are supposed to be awarded by the National Procurement Council. Deliberately, successive governments have refused to inaugurate that council. Why? Because it takes power away from the Federal Executive Council and allows a system to work. They will not do that. That is corruption. And so there's so many others. There's so many forms of corruption that institutionally we have done. What happened with the embarrassment about Maina, who is a fugitive, who came into Nigeria, got promotion and resumed work, nothing happened to anybody. So these fables about an individual is not corrupt or all of that, let's put them to rest. The other aspect of corruption I was talking about that the system forces you to do. I went to a court to depose to an affidavit. There was a process I needed to do. I went to court and they told me how much it was. I gave the person money and he, from his own pocket, removed the change and gave me. Now there's something wrong with, in a system, someone is giving you change from their own pocket. Where do you think the money they're giving you is going to? Do you think it's the government's pocket? They finished doing the thing and then I asked for a receipt. They told me there's no receipt. I don't need one. I said no. I parted with money. I should have a receipt. So they said no. It almost became another problem. So I had to walk away without a receipt and I knew where the money was going. I participated in corruption. I didn't want to, but the system forced me to. And so our own party is going to be setting systems that first and foremost we're going to be leading by example. If we say that we're going to declare our campaign funds, we will do it right from the campaigning time, everybody will see it. It hasn't been practiced in Nigeria, including the president now. He has run for president since 2002. He has never declared his campaign funds. He doesn't declare how much he got, how much was expended, how much remained. Never. And then you still say, how are we talking about combating corruption when we don't lead by example? So we're going to be leading by example based on those things. Our party's records are transparent. Go to our website, you see every document or manifesto. Our website is www.anrp.org.ng. www.anrp.org.ng. You see our constitution, you see our manifesto, you see frequently asked questions, you see the number of members we have. So we're giving to transparency, something we practice, it's something we already do. So we're going to be leading by example, we're going to be committing to doing things differently, and because we understand these things, we're going to be setting up systems here and there to correct this thing and make it difficult for people to practice corruption, especially for the rest of us who don't really want to do it, but the system forces us to. We will force those institutions to deliver good governance in such a way that you cannot subvert it.
This is Cecil, the spokesperson for ANRP. He says he's going to have, the party has a system that will work, that will address corruption, while GMPP says we have God, and God, swearing an oath to God, will keep you on the track.
Please let me say something briefly. Again, if anybody says that we should depend on God to do something, please run away from such people. Because Nigeria is the most religious country in the world, and yet our corruption perception indexes are rising, which tells us that this whole God thing we use it in confusing people. Because there are other countries that have combated corruption without making religion out of it, but they simply did what was right. Those are the kind of steps our own party will
take. I'll give someone an opportunity to answer to that.
Okay. Well, thank you, moderator. It is the fear of God that enables you to be corruption-free. If you don't have the fear of God and you say there's no God in your party and there's no God in your life, I don't know who else will you fear? Is it the common man that you want to take care of that cannot even take you to court? As a president, you are immune from being attacked, from being prosecuted. So it is the fear of God that must be instilled in every Nigerian. And some of us carry this gene even before we became part of this project. I recall, I told His Excellency Chief Olusegun Obasanjo just about a day ago that during his regime, I had the privilege of refusing $2 million bribe. And I was able to save this country from buying obsolete military equipment. And that was a time when I had not a single block of house in Abuja. I mean, this is an example. I had nothing to prove that I had made it. And I received this as a shock, even when I got the reaction from people who got to know that I was the one who desisted, and Obasanjo refused
Chairman,
to award such a project.
You have taken my questions. I'm going to open the phone lines. Please put the phone number on the screen. I want to take 2 questions. We have just less than 5 minutes to go. Let the technical department please put up the phone number on the screen. Before it comes up, you can also continue this conversation. If you want to contribute to this conversation, go to our website, thecurrent.com, thecurrentnews.com.ng, thecurrentnews.com.ng, thecurrentnews.com.ng. Whatever statement, whatever your contributions are on that website, we will get to know and we will air it on the station. For the meantime, let that number be put on the screen. Let the number come up on the screen.
So while we await the number, let me say that we're not saying that we are a godless people. We're only saying that religion and God and such are used to make people to not do what should be done. If we have a proper justice system, if we have a proper law enforcement system, if we deploy technology to check little things that can be done, and we actually lead by example, if you like, don't fear God, the system will catch you and punish you accordingly. And God will also punish you too. But while we wait for God, who can be merciful sometimes, the system, the justice system, the law enforcement system will take on you. And that is what we're saying. We're also talking about a values reorientation. For many of us, our values are upside down. And so we think that having filthy money there's nothing wrong with it. But there's something wrong with not working to get what you can. In these days, before now, you could ask somebody, this person has this, what does this person do? How did they earn this? People have stopped asking those questions. Those are part of what our renewal is all about. That a man's life does not consist of the abundance of what they have, especially if they didn't get it through a means that they can defend. So those are part of, there's so much we have to say.
Thank you very much. I think we are really out of time. I thought I'll be able to take one call. If I could get one call, I will take it now. But for now, please, if you want to be part, I think we'll just take one call, just one person. I was going to take 2. Hello?
Hello?
What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Mr. Michael.
Reduce the volume of your TV set.
I'm calling from Africa.
All right. Tell me what you have to say to these wonderful people here.
I will blame all the justice system from the leadership. Once the head is corrupt, once the injustice from the up, what do you expect from the down? If you talk about the governance, those who want to you watch you, they know you are clean. So once they know that you are not upright, why are we blaming the government of the day? We are blaming it because from the up down, the systems are failed. So even in our churches, in our mosques, in every organization of our affairs. So it is thanks for the leadership. Leadership has failed us. That's why we find ourselves where we are today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I might not be able to take more calls. I can see calls coming. Please just go to the website. You will see that website is spelled The Current, no space in between. The Current News. The Current News, no space.com.ng. Go to that website. You'll see a number. You can start calling in and start making your contribution. And this is the fastest and the highest place we can get to as regards this program. I beg your pardon. We'll take another discussion next time. That's next week, the same time on this program. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Frida Okiria. Bye for now.